Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. Today's video is sponsored by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat to get 20% off your very first order. More on that here in just a little bit. But today, we're going to jump into the news and rumors regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me tell you, a lot has happened in and around the world of Philadelphia sports, really the Eagles, over the past couple of days. I want to jump right into the first story, which is Alshon Jeffery. After everything I have said about Alshon Jeffery this summer, Doug Pederson completely negates everything and says, guess what? Alshon Jeffery is going to be an Eagle. We're excited for him to be an Eagle, and he'll be an Eagle for a very long time. Now, what am I talking about here? Well, Doug Pederson met with the media via Zoom this week and talked about a lot of things which we're going to get into today. The first of which was Alshon Jeffery, who he praised for his work ethic and his leadership during the offseason and what has been a very interesting offseason for Philadelphia. So, with all that being said, it appears that Alshon Jeffery is staying. It appears that me saying, oh, they're going to cut him, oh, he didn't want to be there, oh, he's going to be a cap casualty, might all be wrong in the end. Now, listen, let me just say this before I show you what Doug Pederson said about Alshon Jeffery. I'm all for Alshon Jeffery staying. My whole point was basically saying that Alshon didn't really seem like he wanted to be there, so why keep a guy who's a toxic player in the locker room who doesn't want to play with Carson Wentz? Why keep him? If that's not the case, then keep Alshon Jeffery. I'm all for it. Here's what Doug Pederson had to say to the media via Zoom just yesterday. Quote, all our veteran players, to be part of this virtual offseason like they have, I have been impressed, and Alshon is one of those guys. The dialogues he's had in the receiver room, the way he converses with some of the younger players, there's no timetable. And then when he went on to talk about his injury, I just threw that in there as well. Quote, there's no timetable right now. We want him to focus on his rehab. So to break that whole quote down, essentially saying that Alshon has been a receiver. He's had great dialogue he's been a great leader in the receiver room, had a lot of good dialogue, and has been conversing well with some of the younger players. So what do you say? It seems like Alshon is happy to be an Eagle, and it seems like Philadelphia is not going to have to go through that dead cap hell of cutting Alshon Jeffery and still paying him millions and millions of dollars, which honestly is a win-win. I'm fine with being wrong on this one, but I'll admit that I'm wrong whenever I'm wrong here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, but I was wrong about them wanting to keep Alshon Jeffery, and it appears like he's going to stay, and guess what? If he plays like he did in 2017, that's great news. If he's not complaining about Carson Wentz behind his back in the locker room, that's great news. The Eagles' wide receiver depth chart just got a lot better knowing that Alshon Jeffery is going to be a wide receiver in that group. So I want to start there and not only admit that I guess I was wrong, but also show that, hey, listen, I'm all for Alshon being an Eagle as long as he likes Carson Wentz, is a good mentor, and plays like he did and doesn't get as injured as he did over the past couple of years. Okay, over-under for touchdowns for Alshon Jeffery in 2020. I'm going to say, let's put the over-under at 6. Over-under 6 touchdowns for Alshon Jeffery here in 2020. Let me know right now down below in the comment section. Also, we're trying to get to 11,000 subscribers here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Last I checked, we're like a couple hundred away. So if you've not subscribed to Philadelphia Eagles Now, just help us out because we're trying to get to 11K, and it'd be really cool if we could do it today based on this video. So scroll down and click that red subscribe button. I'm being told we're 70 subs away. So we're way less than a couple hundred. We're 70 subs away. So be one of those today and click that red subscribe button. All right, so you probably clicked on this video partially for this next topic that we're going to talk about here, and that is the national media headline that Doug Pederson is interested in the Eagles signing Colin Kaepernick. Well, let's break down exactly what he said because I disagree that that is probably not the right headline overall. So, Pederson was asked about it in his press conference, as like every single NFL head coach has been asked about it the past couple of days. Anthony Lynn with the Chargers most recently. You probably saw that on your Twitter feed. I think the media has overblown Pederson's answer because there's just no way that the Eagles are going to even think about signing Colin Kaepernick, and I'll explain why here in just a second. Before I do that, though, I'll ask you guys, should the Eagles sign Colin Kaepernick? Just give me your thoughts down below. I want to gauge the Eagle community here. Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. So they're not going to sign Colin Kaepernick, and I'll break that down after I show what Doug Pederson had to say about cap. Quote, I think it's something that if a team or even us were in a situation, we would look at all possibilities and scenarios. The one thing you have to keep in mind is he hasn't played in a couple of years. That still doesn't mean he couldn't come in and be a backup and learn your system and do those things for you. It's not out of the realm or possibility that could happen. Okay. Now, you could see how national media headlines who just want to put Kaepernick in a headline could say, oh my gosh, Doug Pederson says we're thinking about signing Colin Kaepernick. Does this sound anything remotely close to signing Colin Kaepernick? Take everything away in terms of whether you're on one side of Colin Kaepernick or on the other side of Colin Kaepernick. Just take that out. It's not the conversation right now. The conversation is the national media headline of the Eagles are interested in Colin Kaepernick accurate? The answer is no. I just read you the quote. You can look it up. That's exactly what he said. Guys, The Eagles drafted a quarterback. We talked about it a ton here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. His name is Jalen Hurts. He was drafted number 53 overall in the second round. That is going to be your backup quarterback. Oh, and you don't think that he can be the backup quarterback because he's a rookie? Well, the Eagles re-signed Nate Sudfeld to be the other backup quarterback. The Eagles have 3 competent quarterbacks in their quarterback system right now, one of which could be the MVP this year in Carson Wentz. One is a very good backup who's proven to be a good backup in Nate Sudfeld, and one is a second-round draft pick out of Oklahoma who obviously has won a national championship and has been one of the better college quarterbacks in recent memory. The Eagles do not need a quarterback, and I don't think Colin Kaepernick wants to be a backup quarterback anyway because he's had opportunities to do that and has turned them down. That's been proven. So I think overall, this idea that the Eagles are interested in Colin Kaepernick is just a media headline. We break it down here. We give you the facts. We give you the truth. I think that the Eagles, while they said they want to be a quarterback factory, are not interested in Colin Kaepernick and will not go ahead and sign Colin Kaepernick because guess what? They don't need one. You don't need 4 quarterbacks on the active roster. You have to cut one of them. And you're not going to cut Jalen Hurts. You just spent a second-round draft pick on him. And you just gave a giant extension, not a giant, but a good overall size extension for the backup quarterback in Nate Sudfeld. Again, before you go crazy in the comments, this has nothing to do with Colin Kaepernick. Nothing to do with whether you're on this side of it, you're on that side of it, whether you want him to play, whether you don't want him to play. This has to do with the national headline that says the Eagles are interested. I read you the quote, and my opinion is they will not be signing Colin Kaepernick, and I guess we'll wait and see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just like the Alshon Jeffery thing. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll wait and see, but we'll talk more about this, obviously, if things actually start progressing to Philadelphia trying to sign him. Back to our sponsor for today's video is Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat and get 20% off your order. And, of course, you can get a lot of great stuff at Manscaped. They've sent me a lot of their products to try out. I got the Lawnmower 3.0, which has been absolutely fantastic. I actually used it yesterday, a little TMI, but used it yesterday. And I got the Perfect Pack as well, which gives you free boxers and a travel bag and, of course, all the deodorant and stuff to go help you out downstairs. Great company overall, great products. Again, manscaped.com/chat. You get 20% off your entire order, which is a pretty big deal. Link is down below right now in the description. More trade news to go to next. In terms of Joe Thuney, who of course is a star Pro Bowl guard for the New England Patriots, who apparently Albert Breer from the Monday Morning Quarterback thinks would be a perfect fit for Philadelphia. So overall, we of course know the worst news this week is Brandon Brooks pops the other Achilles in a NovaCare Complex freak workout injury. He's going to be done for the rest of the year. The Eagles need a guard. So how do you get one? Well, you can sign one in free agency, which we talked about on a video earlier this week, or you can trade for one, and that's what Albert Breer, the Monday Morning Quarterback, had to say, quote, I don't think if they get through a couple of weeks of training camp and Matt Pryor, Nate Herbig, or Jack Driscoll aren't where they should be, that Roseman will hesitate to pick up the phone. Would they take a big swing on someone like New England franchise tag All-Pro Joe Thuney? Based on what I know, I think they'd at least explore it because, again, that's probably more of a down-the-road contingency thing for now. So, again, we always read you the quotes, we break it down. He's essentially saying that the Eagles will most likely go into the training camp season, which is going to come up here in just a couple of months, or just a couple of weeks, really, technically, as training camp gets going towards the end of July. They will see what they have in Driscoll and Pryor, and if they are not up to standard, if they're terrible, then they might pick up the phone and make a trade. So he offered Joe Thuney as an option there. The problem with Thuney is he's too expensive, and Philadelphia doesn't have that much money to go ahead and get him. He's great. I mean, he's fantastic, but he's a $14.78 million cap hit in 2020. And the Eagles, of course, have $24 million in free cap space, but they're going to roll some of that over to next year. That way they can reduce their $50 million over the cap, which we've talked about a lot here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. So Thuney is too expensive. Now, I can somehow swing him, it'd be fantastic because he's 27 years old. He has never missed a game, and he's been one of the top 3 rated guards by Pro Football Focus the last 2 years. He's been fantastic and truly one of the best guards in the National Football League, and a one that you won't want to hear a lot of because Tom Brady is always the conversation, or at least was whenever he was up there in New England. But you put this guy with Zach Martin and Brandon Brooks, and you probably have the 3 best guards in the National Football League. So would a trade work? I mean, sure, the Eagles could easily make this work and, we'll screw the money in the end, and we just need to get our guard. But I think overall, Philadelphia's going to do exactly what Albert Breer said in the beginning. They're going to try out Pryor, they're going to try out Driscoll, and if they are just totally awful, then they're going to go ahead and look somewhere else, and that could be in a trade, which we will, of course, cover here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. If you guys think this trade should happen and you just want to trade for Thuney regardless of the the financial implications, give this video a thumbs up. So just thumbs up the video if you guys think the Eagles should go ahead and trade for Thuney. Final bit of news here, and I really like this. It's Deshaun Jackson. Apparently, Deshaun Jackson is going to be the mentor for Jalen Reagor, and he's going to be the guy charged with getting Jalen Reagor up to speed. So again, it was in the media press conference, Doug Pederson, besides Cap and Jeffrey, talked about a lot of things overall, but apparently he's hoping and expecting Deshaun Jackson to be a big-time leader in the wide receiver locker room, especially for a young Jalen Reagor. And, I mean, it's easy to say, listen, Jackson should be able to help Reagor out a lot because they're very similar in their overall scheme and play style. Here's what Pederson had to say about Jalen Reagor and Deshaun Jackson, quote, he's going to come in, he's going to learn one position, and he's going to learn from Deshaun Jackson and learn everything he can. Obviously, the playbook is extensive. We just have to see what he's taken from the offseason to training camp, and then once we see his potential and his growth, then we can use him in multiple spots. We'll keep him at one position to start, and we'll grow from there. So, Deshaun Jackson is going to teach him everything in terms of mentoring him at the similar wide receiver spot. They're also going to keep Reagor at one position. Pederson went on to say, listen, you can move wide receivers inside, outside. Right now, we want to keep him at one spot, whether that's inside or outside, to be determined. Once he proves that he can play well from there, we'll give him some more leeway in terms of moving him around in the offense, which honestly is good news overall. Who do you guys think will have a bigger impact this season in terms of the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver core, Reagor or Jackson? Type JR down below for Jalen Reagor. Type DG down below for Deshaun Jackson. I think overall, this is just great news in terms of Deshaun Jackson not only being a mentor, but also coming in and hopefully getting Jalen Reagor up to speed, because that's going to be the big problem this offseason, despite workouts with Carson Wentz not being at the NovaCare complex for mini camps and OTAs will have an impact on the rookie class. We've said this many times here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, and if Jackson can help get him up to speed, whether that's once they get back or before, that's good news for Jalen Reagor and good news for his chances to go ahead and be a breakout star and maybe even Rookie of the Year in 2020. All the time we have for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Again, I wanted to break down all the latest news and rumors. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation. Me admitting I'm wrong about Alshon Jeffery, which to me sounds great. Me admitting that the national headline of Pederson wanting Colin Kaepernick is a little bit overblown. Don't expect that to happen. And then, of course, the Thuney trade, very hard to pull off because of the money. And then Jackson being a mentor to Jalen Reagor. Be sure to subscribe. Again, we're very close to 11,000 subs. It'd be great to get it here by the weekend. If you enjoy these videos, then go ahead and click that red subscribe button. All the time we have for today on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Thomas Mott signing off for the rest of your day.